Good morning and welcome to the crypto day morning for today's date, Sunday, 14th day of October 2018. My name is Derek. All trades, bets, and of the like within one's own risk reward. I'm going to start off by just quickly looking at this information like I did yesterday. One of the things I stated was sometimes on rallies and sell-offs that one exchange can lead the way, and that's exactly what was the case within Bitcoin based on Bitstamp over that of Coinbase. Right now, price action's in at 62.30 on Bitstamp, 62.31.05, which is the exact same price in my book. On Coinbase, on Bitfinex, 63.65 differential, or 65 rather, 135 points. That is firmly right at that barely over 2% differential number. That's continuing to grind that way higher, which is also what you're going to find the tether price with Bitcoin against the USDT. And we're talking about from yesterday the situation of that, like which leads the market. We can see a very big volume here at 15 midnight, just a little after midnight, as the price action hit a high of almost 63.50. Yet on Coinbase, with normal volume, with less volume compared to these, I mean, volume bar is nowhere near as high in comparison. 63.50 on Bitfinex, or excuse me, Bitstamp. This high was 62.88. So that was just big buying on that. So when you look at the price action, there is no moving to the 18 average here, with the last few days being very low volatility. Whereas on the Bitfinex one, quite the opposite. There's just a big buyer that came into place. As far as how these coins are moving, I can sort this by percentage losses and gains. CMT, this is only like one coin, but it's down like 4%, 5%. Vercoin Loom, but there's not much really down too much. There's only really one over the 2.25% mark. And there's only like 4 or 5 over the 1% mark. So there's not much going down, and there's definitely not much going up as well. There's more up over 1.5% in here, but 5.8%, 4.6%, so on and so forth. So I'm going to start this off with a coin, Wabi, which I don't own, but it's got a very interesting setup. One, it was in this nice 18 average, and it just broke it. It's had a good gain. Huge volume on the 2 days, going from 2,800 to 54. So what are the things that I think of in a situation like this? Obviously, I talk about buying on the way down, and then hopefully you get a sell order here, and then buy it back. Sell order here, buy it back. Sell order here, maybe buy it back. Definitely maybe here. Sell order here on this day, definitely buy it back. And then 2 or 3 or 4 sell orders here. But does it have the potential to go up further? This is a coin that's basically went up double. So we talk about coins that can 10, 20, 50, 100x. Does this have more potential for the larger numbers? Well, this has been down a lot. So we have 15,000 down to 5. So that's a 3x move right there. But it even had a lower high before that, as it was at around the 37 or 377 handle compared to 51. So that's a differential of about a 6x loss from its high to where it is now. So yeah, there's definitely potential. But where does it stop on the rise higher? It could be now, it could be on a gain above 65 or 10,000. Who knows? Because when the markets are ready to go, they are going to go. But for me, I just like to play the game, and I'm going to remove this because I don't even need this anymore as far as the right-hand side. But I like to just have my sell and buy orders in, hoping that I get some beautiful action where it can go up, maybe go down like that, and up like that. Because if I'm getting a sell order here, maybe a sell order here, oh, buy order here for that, and that's a good trade. And then you can sell again, and then so on and so forth, that hopefully from a point low to a point high, maybe I can have 50 sell orders, which would be accompanied with maybe 15 buy orders. And then I want to go down, where maybe I might get 50 buy orders and 15 sell orders. And overall, I like to see a situation where market from here has a big up move, then a big down move in time, and from this point to this point, I'm way going to outperform my market portfolio based on my strategy. And again, when crossing against stuff like Bitcoin and Ethereum, you can totally expect to have those in great situations, in my opinion. Now, going over some of the other ones, this is crossed against Binance Coin, and it's the POA network. And this is like an inverted head and shoulders type of pattern situation. 3 different lines drawn in. The lowest one represents resistance from here, congestion area in here, resistance here again on October the 6th, even the resistance on October the 10th, coming back down the band, and it's leaving it. So I love how this pattern is playing out. I think getting above this key resistance point, and it could start now even. If you look at this, say on the 3-hour time frame, but getting above this, you can easily see big gains. Now let's take a look at this. I mean, it's got a very good overextended view. This is something I don't enjoy, stating, okay, well, what's going to happen in a spot like this when you got very good bullish reason where price is going to go higher? You're at this key resistance area, and it's pretty much went straight up. It has came from this correctionary phase. I feel as if there's might be an okay chance it comes back as a retracement, but I'd be looking at like maybe at this line and a pierce below as where support would come into place, so 870. But what's scary about the situation is if this thing gets above resistance, it could just it could blow these the volatility of this move out of the water by having what happened in 3 or 4 candles doing better than that in just one period. But the potential for big gains on this is definitely in place when you take a look at the fact that this thing was at the double or single 05 handle or 550, 558, we'll say. Now it's at 100, so it's down 5x. It was down in here, so it was down 10x from its April Fool's high. So great potential for big gains going, breaking that resistance. Moving on next with Cloak Coin, which took a very serious beat down from its April Fool's high. It was in at the 1750 handle, falling down to 251, so losing about a 7x or such, but has established this level of key resistance in the area of around the 41. But what I liked about this is after having this good correctionary move within the 18 at the end of September, how it went from correcting within the 18, and then on September 25th it got above the 18 average, spending several days showing strength amongst the 18 average of highs, and then it had a lame ass rally, really, for what it's worth, but it had the rally, and it got up to 45, but it came back down and has been correcting really well for the most part, with a little bit of maybe this little failed move getting at the bottom here, which is something that's pretty productive, albeit I like to see it on higher volume. Either way, though, getting above this level of resistance in around the 40, 41 handle mark, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing just gets going. Next up, we got Tron, which in the same thing, big decline. April Fool's rally top of over 1,000, falling down to 260. Now at 386, even recently it was up to 420 and change, 428. But as far as how this has worked, waterfall slide down, the waterfall ends, it goes sideways after a descending move. And now the rate of ascent has went higher, albeit at very low rate of ascension. But within such, after having this rally on September 21st, magnificent correctionary move of close to a dozen days within the 18 average, then getting out above it, breaking past this level of resistance. And I guess another lame-ass breakout for what it's worth, because quite frankly, looking at something like this can very easily indicate what looks like a failed breakout. Why? Well, here's why. Let's put a line in for key resistance. We'll do that now. Beautifully done. And it got above it, as you can see. But it only had that small move, and it came down fast. See, the things that I looked for in that. Okay, you have this level. That's that little box I can draw every single time like such. And then to follow through with this big red candle like that is really indicating, especially at that end of that day, that this is in like a yellow flag warning of this going lower. And yet you give out that flag warning, which I didn't, then you got 3 days right now of it going higher and decently higher, where it got up to the 18 average, resisted it for the 2 previous days on Friday and Saturday. And now in today's session, it looks like it's ready to break out above. that 18 average, that if it does so, that the potential for some big gains is most certainly in place if it gets going. But I do like the odds of this now, as it's showing a very good correctionary move, and thus this now not looking like that failed breakout, but just making the established resistance for the higher highs and higher lows. That's what bull markets do. And let's finish this off with an EVX. And when I look at this and all of these days of the past, these lines that go up, only price pays in this market. So on the date of August 24th, even though the price never should have came up to this 10,000 number when it was in at 6,500, everybody who had sell orders on this day below 11,500 Satoshi, they got it. They got it. And this is positive gain. So I see this, and I just seen it several days ago. I looked at this. It took me 10 minutes before I'm like, how do I not buy this? Usually it takes longer when I look at a coin before I really get into one. But I like the setup as far as how the 18 story is playing through. It was sideways in September. Now it's been going up at an okay rate of ascent. I like how the 18 average and 18 lows, you see how the 18 average is pulling higher. That's because of these higher days are staying consistent and doing well. I also realize that if they're going to continue having these, just have your sell orders in place. And hopefully you get a bunch of them where they continue doing the same thing within the trend. Maybe it goes up again to, like, say, even to 13,000, and then it pulls back to 9. You have your sell orders in. Maybe you sold at 11.7. And then you can just buy it back when it comes back. And then, oh, buy it back at 86 or whatever. Oh, okay, so there's a 20, 30, whatever % move. And I want to pick away as many of them as possible. And I feel in coins like this, I can get some pretty good play. So I like the way this looks as far as how it's moving. And I also like its past history of all of those moves. And to get these sales, you don't have to be at the computer all the time. In fact, it's like just do it as your daily, one of your daily things, every morning, afternoon, every evening, every night, or and just one of them, that is. Even just go in there, check your markets, check which orders hit. When an order hits, oh, you get notified. Say, for example, we go back in time, and this is where you left the computer last. So let's just assume that you had a buy order here at 67.80. So you put your sell orders in. Maybe you put one in for 90 something, somewhere around 86, and then maybe you put one in at around 12,000. And then next thing you know, when, let's just assume it's 8 o'clock, and that's when you come back, because this is when the market closed, and you see, oh, those orders hit, and now the price is 8,000. Well, I definitely can buy one of them back, and maybe I put a buy order in maybe at 67 for the first one that I sold. So you do everything you need to do, and then you move on and you check the next night in 24 hours. So it's something that can be done in this order game, just placing buy orders below, sell orders higher, and then just maintain it on a daily basis and let the market go ahead and do its thing, because you don't have to be around to do it. And the way I look at this is as such. I pretend it's something like at a flea market or a pawn shop, and I got something to sell, like gold coins, paintings that are very good, or whatever the case is. Gold coins and silver coins is a really good example. And you might say to someone, okay, if someone's willing to pay this much, say someone's willing to pay this much for it, I'll sell this many. And if someone's willing to pay this much or whatever, I'll sell this many. And if someone's willing to give me or sell me this for whatever low price it is, I'll buy this amount. So you're giving your orders literally. So I look at it as in, I'm at the pawn shop, but I'm never in there. I got somebody doing the buying and selling for me. And I could have a situation where, like, oh, I just say sold $1,000 worth of these coins. And then the guy who sells them is going to be like, yeah, you got to pay me. Oh, how much do I owe you? Well, it's 0.1%, so you owe me $1. $1. Say you bought or sold 1,000. See, the fees in trading, which is what I find so beautiful, is magnificently low. That was one of my many rather, pet peeves I had within the traditional stock market trading system. Is they had $20, $10, even $5 and $7 trades as how much it was. And that can get very, very expensive, forcing people to really bet, that's a keyword, bet, to trade successfully, that they needed to, you can't even see the date, or the day on the bottom, but to trade, there we go, to trade successfully, you need to have a large balance to do so, because of the minimum bets being so high. You just can't buy something for $50 or $80. But when you have minimum bets on places like Binance and Bittrex at 0.001 Bitcoin, which is it's like $6 and change now, or $6 minimum bets. That means you can make $10 bets. And whether you're betting $10 worth of trades, 100, or 5,000 on these exchanges, you're paying the exact same percentage in fees. So the way I look at it is, if you were to start trading and you really play small, say for something like $250, and you're playing your position sizes, you're playing 20 different coins because technically you can now, but you're making small bet sizes because you can go $6 per trade. If you end up making 25 or 50% or 4x or 10x, then you're going to do so. 250 will turn into 2,500 on a 10x move. But if you started with 2,500, instead of buying, say, 14 of a particular coin and selling one, you would have bought 140, then sold 10. Thus, it works the exact same because of the setup of the percentage amount. Anyway, thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.